Good morning and welcome to a new edition of the Betting Connection podcast. I'm Chris. I'm here with my co-host Rob. How you doing this morning, Rob?
Hi, Chris. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Are you still gloating from last week's success, last week's picks that you did?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I had a definitely we had a very good podcast, I think, as well, eventually. We did hit the big gun Acca again, 5.95. And that's what I really enjoyed. So we're good for a couple of another month for sure, but we're very big up on the big gun Akka. So it seems to work. Yeah, glad. Good weekend. We had like 9 units profit on the pages as well, if you followed us. So like that's huge. That's a huge weekend. So can't wait for the new weekend to come up.
Yeah, I did my absolute best to make it a non-profitable weekend, but luckily you were there to to set me straight. Yeah, I think it was only of all the picks you made, including the ones on the socials. I think only one of yours didn't come in, so it was an unbelievable percentage. Me, on the other hand, wasn't it was unlucky. I wouldn't say they were bad picks, but I did do my best to bring that down. But as you say, Big Gun Acca came in. We ended up for podcast picks alone last week. It was a +5 unit, and if you followed everything from us on the socials as well, it was more like +9. And like I said, I did my best to bring that down, but it was still a very profitable week. And yeah, some really good picks there. Like you had, what you had from the pod last week? You had PSV, Liverpool, Dordrecht. And then you had a couple of quite last minute picks on the socials last week with some Dutch football, some
Yeah, the
anytime goal
prices
scorer or
were
assists.
Yeah, the prices were like going up and going up and going up. Like we talked about it, like Feyenoord was not that interesting because I looked at it in the pod before the pod and it was like 1.6 or something, and I thought that that's too risky for Feyenoord. But I even got a price about over evens eventually, and then you had the striker. They changed it now because Jimenez, like the main striker, he's a Mexican. He got injured, and now Ueda got his chance, and he's more comfortable at the moment. And I just thought the price is too good, and you could find him for like goal or assist for over evens as well. And like they don't have like a real backup striker yet. They do have him, but he only played like a couple of minutes yet. So I thought like, okay, they definitely give him like a lot of minutes and they're gonna create some chances and assist or a goal from the striker is always a good possibility. And that also happened in the PSV game as well.
Did
So
it was De Jong in the PSV game as well. I
yeah,
saw your Feyenoord post not long before the game, and I was like, oh, I did a quick research myself, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I could trust them. You missed out the part that they went from 1.6 to 2.1. I didn't see that movement in the
yeah, that's
market
true.
for the value, but yeah, no, great shout. Was there a standout pick for you, Rob, out of everything last week that you picked on the pod or the socials? Was there a standout?
Yeah, we had the bet of the week, of course, with FC Dordrecht, and that was a crazy game to be honest. VVV started off red hot, and they scored a goal in like the first 15 minutes. All of a sudden, Dordrecht comes back, scores the equalizer. VVV gets the red card. So you think like, okay, it's done and dusted. Like 20 minutes, the game was only 20 minutes long, and already a red card for VVV. So Dordrecht are cruising. But then it changed again, as it usually does in the Dutch second division. FC Dordrecht got behind because VV scored like 2-1 halftime, and after halftime they got the job done eventually. So I was really glad to like start off the weekend good, and yeah, the luck kept on coming throughout the weekend. So yeah, and on your side, to be honest, like we talked about it last time as well, like the prices were quite good. Like if you only made one of out of three value picks, then you would have made your money back. And I saw some of the games, and you're a little bit unlucky, to be honest.
Yeah, I watched quite a lot of the picks that I had last week. Osasuna, that game against Real Betis could have gone that could have been 4-3 either way. It was a bit crazy, missed chances both ends. I watched a bit of the Norwich game, which I was quite hot on Norwich. But they went 1-0 up and they conceded an equaliser in the injury time of the first half, and they were dominating the first half, and then second half they were terrible, to be honest, and it probably played out as a fair draw. But look, yeah, like I say, they weren't bad picks. If one of those had come in, it would have changed the whole outlook for my picks, and would have put us more on a one plus 11 really. So either way, look, we can't complain too much. The good thing about us, Rob, and this is why we work together, and because we've been talking for quite a few years now together about our picks on a daily basis, and we do find that sometimes we'll go through winning streaks. I've had quite a good run up the last few weeks with these value picks. What doesn't happen very often is that we both have bad weekends on the same weekend. So it's quite normal for us to. That's why nearly every one of these podcasts has been a winning podcast, because we kind of balance each other out, and we just find ways of being profitable between the both of us.
Exactly. And yeah, you if you play a lot and you gamble a lot, then you know it's about the variation as well. And you just have to stay steady, stay calm, keep the same unit size, be smart. If you win or you lose, it's a variance. And like this last weekend, I had a good variance, and during the midweek we were a little bit unlucky, if I may say, on the pages as well in the Champions League. Some results not going our way, so that's how it goes. And yeah, you have to be smart about your money and be smart about your betting sizes, and that's about it. And so far, so
Yeah,
good. I think we only
it's
had
it,
one
it
losing podcast.
only one losing podcast. This is our 10th episode, so anyone that's following all of our picks will be in profit for the season without doubt. So yeah, it's about like you say, stay true to yourself, stay true to your own rules, your own unit sizes, and don't let a loss define you. Don't let a win. Don't get carried away with a winning streak, and stay consistent with how you bet. So, with that in mind, let's talk about this weekend's games, this weekend's picks. We often start in the UK, and we'll go to obviously England first. There's one standout game this weekend, which we're going to talk about in the quick fire round, Arsenal Liverpool. So we'll leave that to a bit later. We do have Aston Villa versus Bournemouth. Villa again. Well, Villa top of the Champions League right now. What are you making of Villa Bournemouth, Rob?
Um, I was looking at as a price wise, and I found Aston Villa to win for 1.9. And I think that's a very good price, to be honest. They seem to have it under control if they play during midweek, and then they play in the weekends as well. They had like a good result again during the midweek. Bournemouth off that flyer win against Arsenal, it's maybe a perfect setup for like a little bit more laid back, like, oh, we got that result, they're amazing, they're flying high, and then all of a sudden Aston Villa away is a tough game for them as well. And I think 1.9 is quite a good price for Aston Villa. And I know they played during midweek, but I think they got used to it last year, or it seems to. What do you think?
It's well, firstly, they played at home in midweek, and they're playing home again in the weekend. So, from a fatigue point of view, I don't see that being an issue. I I I did look. I didn't look at this in depth, to be honest with you, because again, I was looking at the fixtures before I look at the odds, and now you've kind of raised my awareness to that 1 point. I'm looking at my bookies here, 1.85. It is good value. Like Bournemouth are a decent team, though I have to say, obviously, they hurt my Arsenal last week and hurt my bet of the week, which we'll get round to. But they're not a bad team, Bournemouth. but they haven't had, apart from the Arsenal game, they haven't had amazing results. So I do think that's good value. The only thing that concerns me a little bit is that Aston Villa against teams they really should win at home have made hard work of it this year. So it's the only thing. But I think at 1.85, it's definitely a good price. I'm not going to put an official pick on it, but I'd definitely be leaning towards it. Is that the same for you, or would you go actually fully on this one?
No, I think I will go. I will pick this one. I like it.
Okay,
I think
okay,
yeah, it was a good result against Bologna. I think they started without Watkins as well. They started our man Duran.
yeah.
Uh,
Did you see him when he came off the bench though? Like when he subbed in Watkins in the second half, he kicked the shit out of the subs bench and stuff. He threw a right hissy fit.
yeah, really? Oh, it's
Yeah,
I see that.
yeah. It wasn't a good look actually. Bearing in mind that like Watkins has to come off for him every single game in the league. It was the other way round in the Champions League, and he really didn't take it well. And he
Yeah,
scored a goal as well. So,
but I
but
think then
like,
now the strikers are both gonna score. Like not really like both gonna score, but the one who's gonna start is gonna score. They're like, okay, I will show you. And I think both of them have like great motivation to put on a good performance against Bournemouth then, to be honest. If I think about it, I didn't see it, but when I think about it, like, yeah, if I was Watkins and I saw this guy like, oh, going crazy and like, okay, if I'm starting on Saturday, I will show you. I will score like twice.
yeah, yeah, it's a good point. I think we're talking ourselves into a pick here, no?
Yeah, I've talked myself into it. I think the price is quite. And again, if you just play one unit, that's it. You don't have to like put it on all those crazy akkas. We know what we're playing. It's not we're playing like a solid, a sure thing like PSV in the Eredivisie at the moment. But you're not getting that price. You're not getting like the 110 or something. You're getting 1.9 at least at my bookies. You get 1.9, and then that's about
Yeah,
it.
it's worth a shout. As any of our regular listeners will know, we're looking for value picks on this pod. We're not here to tell you 1.4s, 1.3s. It's pointless. Anybody can do that. We're trying to find value in the market, good prices. That's the whole point. So yeah, obviously there's higher risk with them, but at the same time, playing one unit singles, it's damage limitation really. You've only got to get kind of 60% to be in profit. So yeah, let's go on more of those kind of picks and moving on to the next game. That's also kind of decent value as well. Do you find on Brentford at home to Ipswich?
Yeah, Brentford at the moment still a little bit of a mixed bag. But then again, I always think like they have this idea behind it, and they will come good eventually. They got the loss against Manchester United. I saw quite a bit of that game, and like it turned around after halftime in that match, and I think Manchester United got not lucky, but they got off to like a great start in the second half. Like they scored after 1 or 2 minutes, and then like the whole stadium went behind them, and then you could see Manchester United like more in control of the game and a lot more chances and deservedly win. Crazy press conference, by the way, from Ten Hag. Did you see that?
No, I didn't actually.
Like he
What did he
tried to
say
like
this
make a
time?
joke out of the journalist or something, but it like didn't work. And he said like he's like talking and he says like, huh? And then he starts talking like, don't you think so? Huh? But he does it like every time. And it was very awkward. I think I should recommend it to the listeners to watch that again. Like I think it was like last week, and like it was so awkward. But coming back
He's
to
an odd guy. He's an odd guy. He's an odd guy.
the guy is very odd. I think he's in the corner at the moment.
But
Um,
he always find. I've said this in a previous pod. He always finds a way of just sneaking a result when he's one loss away from the sack. He finds a way. He does find a way. But I watched it as well. Like Brentford are always a threat. They're very dangerous on the counter. Buemo's been playing great this season. Um, I I think if this one was similar to the Villa game at 1.85, around those odds, I'd see the value in it. I find this at 1.67 for a Brentford win. I just feel like it's a little bit short. Have
Yeah, that's
full
true.
I don't have full faith in them. Ipswich have shown to get a couple of half decent draws this season away from home as well, including Brighton, who
Yeah, but I
are
think if you
arguably
look
a
at
better
like the
team.
last two matches, they're like clear losers to not even the greatest teams at the moment. They lost 4-1 to West Ham. They lost 2-0 at home to Everton. I know they got like the great or the good draws like before that. They had four draws in a row, was quite
Yeah,
decent as well. But maybe like if they get more into the season, like the teams as well, like they know the tactics of Ipswich. They were always destined to fight for relegation, to be in that battle. And Ipswich, oh, and Brentford normally isn't. Like they're more looking to like mid-table, maybe like a little chance of European football if they had the crazy season. Um, I think maybe it's a lean. Like you said it right. I think the price is not right, totally right on this one, but definitely a lean.
okay, yeah, myself included on that one. I'm not gonna to go heavy on a pick on that one, but maybe one to put on some Accas if you're having a bit of a play on that. Moving on to another game. This game's Sunday, Crystal Palace versus Spurs. I've got an official pick on this one, and I have to wash my mouth out first with soap. But I'm going to go on a Spurs win in this game.
Ooh. Tell me more.
Yes.
Tell me more.
So yeah, look, I think this is a really good value pick. Spurs away at Palace, they're 1.8 at the moment at the bookies. Palace haven't won yet this season. They've literally not won one Premier League match. And actually looking at the fixtures, they're not even being that hard on paper. It's not like they're playing all the top teams. They've not played that many difficult games, and they haven't won once. Spurs, they're coming into a bit more form. They've won three of their last four matches. And if it wasn't for that second half implosion against Brighton, it would be four in a row. Let's face it, they basically won that match in the first half and they just imploded. Um, they give me a sense as well a little bit, Tottenham this year, that they're a bit flat track bullies. They're beating teams well, the teams they should be in the bottom half. They are giving them a good spanking sometimes. They've won four of the five played against teams in the bottom half. And yeah, they've got a good record in this fixture as well. They've won seven out of the last 10 meetings against Crystal Palace, including the last five in a row. So they're in good form in this fixture. They're beating teams they should do. And they're in decent form in general. On top of that, I do have a bit of a theory with Crystal Palace away. It's one of those fixtures when you see it on paper, Palace away, it's either it's a difficult fixture if you play this game at night time under the lights, midweek, maybe late on a Sunday in the winter, um, or if you're playing it in the afternoon early, especially, I think it's a different game. It's one of those crowds, one of those stadiums that is just different under the lights with the crowd on top of the pitch. So this one's played at I think 2 o'clock in England on Sunday. Nice time. All the form I just mentioned. 1.8. I really like this.
Okay, I think you notified me, I think earlier this week, and I jumped on it right away. And I got it in at 1.9. So the price is already dropping on Spurs, if you look at it. So yeah, I thought this was a good shout. And yeah, good pick.
Yeah,
You have another
yeah, like I
one.
say, it hurts me to speak well of Tottenham and to want them to win. But look, at the end of the day, good value is good value. And
Exactly. Yeah, but better.
money comes
Yep.
before my
Leave the
before my
emotions at the
yeah,
kitchen
exactly,
table.
exactly. I'm too old now. Money's way more important than whether Spurs win or lose. um and anyway, and by the way, just an update on my Spurs trash talk generally. So after they lost to Brighton, they kind of conceded that, you know, they weren't very good and they weren't going to win the league. But because Arsenal lost last week and they won, it's back again. So Spurs now think again they're going to win the league. So you know the drill, guys. If you find a Spurs fan in the pub, just make a bet with them. They're prime meat again. They're ready for it. So yeah, take advantage. But this weekend, I think they will win.
You had to do it again. You had to go there again.
Again, I'm sorry. I couldn't talk well of them for 2 minutes without having
Oh
to
my
bring it down.
God.
So
You
there we
just had
go.
to let it rest. Go on to your next pick.
Yeah, I feel restored now. Normality's restored. Right, moving on to down the leagues a little bit, and this is another official pick of mine. This was my major success from last weekend, and it was Reading. Reading at home, and we've got them at the exact same price this week. This time they're playing at home to Bristol Rovers. So I'm going to go again for Reading. They, like I say, they won last week comfortably with my pick 4-1. Um, Bristol Rovers. Okay, this is a more difficult match than last week. They've actually been in decent form, which is why the bookies probably have this price. They have won 3 of their last 4, so there are kind of concerning signs. But when you strip it back, when you look a little bit deeper into that form, you find that 2 of those 3 wins came against teams in the bottom 3 right now. And that includes the only away game that they've won all season, which is the bottom of the league, Burton. So the other away game they played in that 4-game run was a loss. And like I say, they've lost all their other matches on the road. Okay, so they've literally lost all of them except one, which was a win against bottom of the league. So when you look at it overall, and when you look also just generally what their form is like when they're playing these, you know, better teams, even at their own ground, it's not great. They've played 6 teams in the top half, and they've lost 5 of them. Okay, so their recent form is why the odds are good value on Reading, but I still think this is a game that Reading should win. As I discussed last week, Reading's home form is really good. It's the 3rd best home record in the league. They've now won 5 of the 6 they've played at home, and as I mentioned, they hammered the game last week 4-1. And they also won in midweek, actually. They played in midweek away from home. They won that as well. So they are in good form, and I'm going to back them again.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay,
Like
so
I
it's
covered you
Reading.
last week on that Reading pick. So yeah, you keep on delivering the lower leagues. I just leave it to you. I don't even do my research on it anymore. I just leave it
Just
up to you.
Okay, so
Wow.
that was the one that stood out. It was actually a very difficult card, lower league football this weekend, and that's the only one that stood out that I liked. To be fair, so yeah, I'm going strong on Reading. Before we move away from England and the UK, you've raised our friends Aberdeen again. Aberdeen are playing this weekend. Unbelievable result last week away at Celtic. They maintained their unbeaten run, although the 100% record came to an end, as did Celtic's. You actually, in your quickfire round, went for a draw, a 1-1 draw. It was 2-2, but you backed Aberdeen to get a result. They got a result, and now here they are at home to Dundee. What are you saying?
Whew. I just want to talk about our favorite team at the moment, and that's Aberdeen. So I just want to get it in. I think the price at the moment is getting lower and lower. You can see that. I found it at like 1.65. And Dundee is also a team that's quite good in form. They're standing 4th. Their form table, they're 3rd. They had the last 2 matches they won. I think they didn't play the toughest of opposition. I would still back Aberdeen to win, but I would play it in like a fun Acca because I just like Aberdeen and I think they can maintain. Definitely, if you get the result away from home from Celtic, you have another week's rest and you're all up for it at home. The fans will be behind it. I think they will put out a good performance and they get the win. Like it's Yeah, why not? Like, why not? It could be the yeah, Rangers lost like 2 points again last weekend. So maybe they're thinking like, maybe we could be in this like normally a two-horse race. Maybe we could make it like a three-horse race. So they have to keep up in those home games, and definitely against a team like Dundee, that will set them apart from the opposition. So yeah, just in the fun Akka, I think the price is getting maybe a little bit too short. But for 1.65, it's nice to get it in.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's right on the limit, isn't it, between what you consider value pick and to put on an acca or a double or something. It's like I say
Exactly.
1.67, like 1.67 for me. I see as a value pick. 1.65 is on that kind of, yeah, you need to put it with something else. So it's right on the line for me. So if you can find it at 170, for example, I would jump on that as a single. I'm not I looked at this game as well. I didn't love it for an official pick. One, because of the price. I think it was a bit higher. Probably I would. But yeah, I couldn't pick many holes in Dundee's season so far, neither. So yeah, it was a difficult one to go strong on for price and because of Dundee.
Okay, we'll leave it at
Okay,
that.
perfect. Right, let's move on to Italy. You wanted to have a little chat about was it Napoli?
Yeah. Napoli seems to be of maybe a new rollover team in Italy. They're doing like amazing good job. They won the last four games. I think they drew against Juventus away from home. But that's about it. I think they don't play in Europe this year, so that also is a good for them. So they have more time to get it going. I think they only lost this year in the beginning of the season to Verona, but after that they just have wins, 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 wins. They didn't play against the big teams. They're top of the league. They're playing this week at home against Lecce. And Lecce is actually the quite opposite of Napoli at the moment. They lost their last four games, and they are 19th in the table, just getting 5 points. And I think that Napoli is going to be a little bit of my rollover team and my team that to put in my big on Aka later. And you can find them at 1.32 or something. So it's not even that bad for such a team playing at home against for in your big on Aka.
Yeah, they're becoming my new favorite team actually to put into Accas, especially at home. So yeah, they've been in good form pretty much since the Osman drama ended,
Exactly.
really. Like I said, a bit of a sticky start right at the beginning, but that drama was still going on, and then as soon as it was over, it almost like it all clicked for them. So I think one bad result along the way, but other than that, it's been pretty decent. And well, you've given it away that they're going to be in your big gun acca, Rob. They are in my student acca as well. So we're both going on Napoli this weekend.
Okay. Yeah,
There's
that's
there's
good.
one there's there's one standout game in Italy this weekend, Inter versus Juventus. Have you got a play on the game or just a general thought?
Just a general thought. I think we have to talk a little bit about this game because it's such a big game at the moment. Definitely in Italy, Juventus seems to be back on track this year, definitely under Motta. But during midweek, they got the loss at home against another team we're going to talk a little bit about, Stuttgart. So they must be hurting a little bit about that. And I don't know. I like Inter a lot, you know. I think they're gonna be the favorites to win the season, to be honest. They showed the quality last year. They always seem to get like the win when they need to. So I would lean towards Inter if you have to make a pick about this match. But I'm not gonna make an official pick on this one. Don't really like the Italian big like the big clashes between the big teams. They normally tend to be like a little bit or draw lots of draws, a lot of 0-0. I think we got a pick earlier this year. Napoli, Juventus, we got the prediction right with 0-0. With the
Yeah, I mean
nil.
it could happen again in this game.
Could happen again, definitely after Europe this week.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that the Italian league isn't the best quality. Like they It's a
Ooh,
strong, yeah,
wow.
it's a strong statement. And bearing in mind that this is the country that has been top of the coefficient in order to get the most teams into the Champions League. But honestly, I thought Juventus would make light work of Stuttgart this week. Stuttgart thoroughly deserved to win that game. Juventus didn't touch them. They didn't lay a glove on them. And this is a Stuttgart team that just got spanked. Was it 4-0 by Bayern last weekend? Um, I also had Inter. I had Inter on a little treble last night as well, and Galatasaray won. I had Liverpool double chance, and then I had Inter, and I had to wait for a 94th minute goal away at Young Boys. This is a Young Boys team that Aston Villa destroyed in their own ground, at their own ground, and Inter making hard work of it, and I'm just like, are they that good? I'm
Yeah,
not
but
sure at the
what I
moment.
always think, like maybe let me say this. I think like the English football is very high intensity and very demanding and very physical, and they also have like still very skillful players as well. Like it's unbelievable. So every time when like a Dutch team or like a different team goes up against the English team, you would think like, if they bring the same energy all the time, they're gonna destroy them. But then again, like if you see sometimes also even the Dutch teams, they have a different playing style, you know. They take more time, and definitely the Italians, they take more time, and they look at it tactically a little bit different. And then when you come to the later stages of those cups, yeah, it's like they go all in, all in, all in all the time, but that's not even the smartest move. And the Italians are Italians not for nothing. And then all of a sudden, Inter Juventus comes away with a good result away from home, gets like this tricky corner, taking a lot of time. And then at home they finish the job 1-0, and it's job done. And maybe we'll get there. But what do you think about that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out
I don't
eventually.
love watching Italian football. I think they do find a way in the Champions League to make life difficult. I think their style is a way that can be successful in Europe. But I would back any English team at home against an Italian team, to be honest. But look, we will see. They proved me wrong. I mean, Inter, got to the final of the Champions League the year before last. Like I say, they got
Was
five
there an
teams in the
English team in
Champions
the
League.
final last year in the Champions League?
Mm, no, it was Dortmund, wasn't it? Real Madrid, Dortmund.
I
The year
know, of course. I'm just stating the obvious. Thanks for giving me that. So then,
Anyway,
yeah, we'll see.
moving on to Stuttgart, who we just been speaking about. Um, what are we saying? You got anything for Stuttgart this week? Who they play? They got spanked by Bayern last weekend, but then got a great result against Juve. So, who are Stuttgart?
Stuttgart was very good last year. They got amazing result. I think that's why they got in the Champions League. They were in the title run, I think, if I remember it correctly, for quite a long time, and they were just kept on winning, definitely at home. Then they had like a couple of players. They moved away, got a new couple of players in. So I think they're searching still a little bit for form. Definitely, if you're looking at the results, but maybe this Juventus game could be like this, the change of the season. I think they have a nice game coming up at home against Holstein Kiel. They are 17th in the league, second to last in Germany. Only got 2 points from seven. So I think this could be like maybe a game that they like show like, okay, we won against Juventus, we still got it, we got the quality, we outplayed them, like it wasn't even luck, as you said. Now we're playing at home, home fans against like second to last. I think they're gonna win this match, and they're gonna start getting some momentum going.
Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah,
Short
I
price to be
mean,
honest. Short price to be honest. Short
are
price.
they going on to an Acca?
Maybe we'll
Yeah,
see. We'll see.
okay.
Keep them guessing.
Um, Okay, let's go to your homeland, Rob, Holland. You had great success last week with that first your bet of the week, Dordrecht, FC Dordrecht, which you've already spoken about. Division Two, again, they open up the weekend usually on Friday nights. You got a couple of games for us?
Yes, I actually have two picks. Like I said, like the second division in Holland is always quite crazy. Strange results happening. Top of the league can lose all of a sudden from a lower league, but it's reflecting in the price as well. So you always get quite good prices. If you compare it to like the Premier League or something, like definitely when you have like the top teams in England, they're getting shorter and shorter, so it's not really value. But here you can find value. You only have to like cope with the upsets that can happen as well. This time I'm going for FC Dordrecht again. I think they're sixth in the league, and they're playing against the youth team, youth setup of FC Utrecht, and they are last in the league. And I think the FC Dordrecht has to maintain their winning streak. And I think I found them at 1.7. So I actually think it's a good price on that one. And the other team I want to talk about is FC Volendam. Did you ever heard of Volendam? You ever been?
Volendam, no, I recognize the name just from seeing it on the fixture lists in Holland, but I don't know of the place at all. Tell me.
Volendam is quite known for having a lot of tourists. It's like not a real city, but it's like a very large village, and they're kept quite good to themselves. It's like a little village, fishers village back in the days, but not as many fishers anymore. But all the people go over there to get the picture done with all like the traditional Dutch clothing. So clocks and like the old-fashioned Dutch one. So
Do they have windmills as well?
they do have windmills. They have
It's so,
cheetahs.
so the most stereotypical picture that you can have of a Dutch person with clogs in front of a windmill. This is the place they go for the photos.
Exactly. Volendam, the place to be. I think they
The
have
place to be.
like tours and tours and buses loads of every day of Asian people coming in as well. Like it's very
Really?
like loads of Asian people like to like see all the sights, or at least in Holland they do. And yeah, they really played a big part of it as well. Lots of tourists coming in Volendam.
Okay. And what about the football? Who are they playing this weekend?
They're playing against, wait, I have it here. They're playing against FC Eindhoven. Volendam got relegated last year from the Dutch Eredivisie. And I think they're trying to get back up, of course. They had quite a tough start of the season, but they seem to have like turned the page. They won last midweek, like a couple of days ago, back on Tuesday, against top of the league FC Den Bosch at home as well. They won, I think they won the 5 matches out of the last six. And if you look at FC Eindhoven, they lost the last 2 matches, even to a key team that's also not doing that well. So they're moving in opposites uh, ways at the moment. FC Volendam is climbing up the ranks, going to the top league. I think there's still a lot of shuffling in the Dutch league to be done. And FC Eindhoven is actually moving a little bit down. And I think this is a perfect moment to back Volendam. And you can get them at quite a good price. I found them at 1.8,
One point
1.76 to be honest. 1.76.
0.76 Volendam. Okay, so we've got Dordrecht to win and Volendam. So next time you all bet on Volendam, you can imagine in your heads people with clogs and windmills and old-fashioned
That's
clothes.
what we
Lovely.
are all about.
You've
No,
just put a new meaning to my betting angle with that team. Excellent.
good, good team to
Okay,
bet.
so is that it for the second division this week?
Yeah, maybe if you want, you can have a look at the outside pick of on Sunday. They are not like top of the league is Helmond Sport. They're playing away at home, away from home against MVV, and you can find them at 2.5. And I think that price is just large, very large. And MVV is not playing that well. They're like almost close to the bottom of the league. Um, so it's a very good price if you want an underdog pick or outsider pick. Take a look at Helmond Sport, but that's a lean. Do you have
Okay.
anything in Holland?
Holland, yes. No, I thought you were going to ask if I had anything for Holland's second division, mate. My second division Dutch knowledge is about as good as your third division English knowledge. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's nothing.
no, but I do have a pick in Holland, yes, and it's fading. It's fading that team again, RAC Waalwijk, my favorite team to pronounce. Um, yeah, like it's NAC Breda at home this week against Warwick, and and it's at 1.95. And I find that quite good odds. I don't know what you think on that, but I know Warwick got a surprise draw last week against FC 20, which obviously it ruined that ruined the was that the big gun acca or the student no, the student acca last week we had 20 on. So yeah, but that was their first point of the season. So do you have a thought on this before I go into a little bit of detail or
Yeah, I could enlighten the people a little bit of the background. I think it's like a derby as well, because they're both in the same province and they're quite close to each other as well, those cities. NAC Breda and AC. They got promoted last year very luckily. They were very lucky. I think they finished like eighth in the league, and then through the playoff system, they got promotion. But if you look at Breda, it's like quite a big city in Holland as well. And they're famous for having like quite good fans, enthusiastic fans, maybe sometimes a little bit over the top, but definitely a good home crowd. And it's famous for having like those night games, it's called like avondje NAC, and it's they have like a saying as well for them playing at home under the lights, so they tend to do well. And yeah, that's about it that I can say about this game.
okay, well, I look at it from a statistical point of view, and Breda have won four and lost four of their last eight. But again, if you go more onto home and away form, their home form is very decent. They've won three of their four at home. The only loss came against Utrecht, which is probably the inform and surprise team of the season. I think they're second at the moment, Utrecht in the league.
Yeah.
And Warwick, we've spoke about these several times on this pod. They've lost seven of their eight matches. It was 7 out of 7 last week. As I say, they picked up their first point at home last week into 20. Is this something that they can build on? That's the big question mark here. Is this something that they can build on, or was this just a fuck up by 20? With odds of basically double your money, I'm going to say this was an anomaly last week, and I'm going to back the home team who've shown that they've beaten much better teams than this, and take those odds and hope that this is not a revival by Warwick and their gangster striker.
I think he's not playing at the moment, so you don't have to worry about him yet. Maybe
I don't
little,
care. I just like mentioning him every time. So
yeah, Mohammad Yataran. That's his name. Yataran. Oh, well, he will do. I will hope. I hope for him. Um,
but do you think that's a good price, Rob, as well? Obviously,
Yeah,
just
it's a
from
good
a
price.
gut
Yeah,
instinct.
definitely. If you only have 1 point to show for, like that's nothing. And to be honest, and I think NAC Breda, as I told you, they're quite good at home. I think the crowd will go behind them. I think, well, what time are they playing? They're playing Saturday night, 8 o'clock. I think the fans are up for it. They're gonna have a little party there afterwards as well. So they definitely want to get a result here, and I think it's a good price.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't know it was a derby. I'll be honest. That's where your insight, being
exactly.
Dutch, comes to handy. And look, being the home team in the derby, I would always favour generally, without any form situation. So yeah, look, there's always a reason. I just think it's a good price, like you say, based on the fact that Warwick have got 1 point all season, and you've got a team at home who've been winning at home at 1.95. I've got it at. Yeah, definitely going to make that pick and play on that one.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, sorry,
One
yeah.
more maybe, one more in Holland. I saw that
Oh,
price of Feyenoord. They
mm-hmm.
are at 1.9. They're playing Utrecht at home, away from home. Utrecht is in amazing form, to be honest. They've won just literally everything in Holland. But as I said, there is a clear difference between the top teams and the teams behind it, and definitely Feyenoord and PSV are showing they are. And Feyenoord didn't have the greatest start of the change of the coach, but they seem to have turned a real corner. If you look at the last four results, they got away from home win against Girona, they won at home against FC Twente, they got a 5-win away from home against Go Ahead Eagles, and they won last night 3-1 away from home against Benfica. I think they are on a flyer. They are motivated. Everything works for them at the moment. And I found them at 1.9. And I think they're gonna do it. And I know Utrecht is good at home, quite good fans as well. And they've just kept on winning, but against different kind of opposition, to be honest. So
Yeah, I kind of like that as well, actually. I know Utrecht have been fantastic this season, but you just know, like you just mentioned it there, that you just noticed the change in form recently of Feyenoord. And like you say, on their normal day, they're a much better team than Utrecht. Like I say, it's a different level. So
exactly.
whilst the odds are still like that, I mean, this is a game where at the start of the season, or maybe later on in the season, you're never getting even money on Feyenoord to beat Utrecht. Never.
Exactly.
Home
You
away.
get like
Never.
1.5 or 1.45 or 1.6, definitely when Utrecht is doing this well. But yeah, never get that price. So
So I think it's worth. I do think this is worth a play actually on the fact that the corner might have been turning for Feyenoord, and you won't get this price again.
just put one unit on it. And if you put one unit on all those picks, I think we definitely, if you have like the NAC Breda game, one unit, and you put one unit on the final game, and we both really like those picks. And if only one wins, you only lose like 0.5 unit, or maybe you win one unit, depending on where your bookies is, or maybe win 1 point or 0.5 units. Um, but yeah, I think that's the way to go. Just get your picks in, good value, and then you win some, you lose some, and make sure you get like 60% winners or 55% winners, and you'll be up.
Okay. Right, that's it for our single picks. Let's move on to the quickfire round. Again, for any new listeners, the quickfire round, we pick the game of the day Saturday, game of the day Sunday. We take 30 seconds each to speak about it, give a scoreline prediction, and any time goal scorer, and it's just a bit of fun. So we struggled to find some big games over the last couple of weeks, to be honest. Not this weekend. Absolute banging games. We've got we've got El Clasico, Real Madrid, Barca on Saturday, Arsenal, Liverpool Sunday. Two games, massive implications at the top of the table of the two biggest leagues in the world. Who's going to start with Real Madrid, Barca?
You know what I'm gonna do.
You're going to
You can
defer me,
pick,
like
you can
always.
choose.
You're going to defer me. I'm going to go first then. I'm going to
Okay,
go first.
I'll count you in.
Let me get my notes on Real Madrid Barca. Right, okay. Do you want to count me in?
Yes. Three, two, one, go.
El Clasico, Real Madrid unbeaten. Barcelona have won all but one game. What's going to happen here? Real Madrid's record's actually a lot better than I thought in this fixture. They've won 7 of the last 10 meetings and 4 of the last 5 at the Bernabeu. So I am going to go quite strongly on a Real Madrid win here. Mbappe to shine on the biggest night. This are the reasons that he's gone to Barca. This is the reason that Barca have signed Mbappe. 3-1 Real Madrid, and Mbappe to score anytime, 17.0.
Okay, that was overtime, and you made the mistake that you said Mbappe played for Barcelona.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah. Okay, can we can we do
So
that
yeah, that
again?
happens. That happened. That happened. We'll get that clip. We'll take that clip, and then in 10 years' time, we'll laugh still about this one. This was a good one, man. Good. Okay, I will set the record straight. You come me in?
1 second, mate. 1 second. 1 second. Right. Three, two, one, go.
Yeah, as you said, El Clasico, biggest game of the season. Real Madrid, as I talked about before, I thought they would have been a lot better at the moment. They're showing some quality. They have definitely individual players that can transform the game. Barca is overperforming, in my opinion, this season, but I think they can get like a result here again. I'm going for a dramatic 2-2 draw, and Rafinha, the man who scored a hat-trick, to get a goal for a 26.0.
Nice.
That's it.
Just a tad over, but yeah, good, good. Okay, so you're going 2-2. I'm going 3-1 Real, and Bappy and Rafinha on the go on the score sheet. So yeah, interesting one. Interesting one. Should be a great game. Saturday night, I think it is.
Yeah, Saturday night it is. It's gonna be a big game, I think. Like, yeah, everyone wants to show up for that game. Yeah.
Okay, and remember, Mbappe plays for Real Madrid, guys. I don't know what I was
You
thinking
heard
there.
it here
Anyway,
first.
yeah, it first a transfer that no one knew about. So yes, Sunday this game. Well, you can go first on it. Arsenal Liverpool. Tell me what you think.
Sunday fun day. Yeah, you have to count me
Yeah,
in.
I'm going to count you in. I'm scared of what you're going to say here. Three, two, one, go.
Okay, Arsenal Liverpool, biggest game of the season so far. Definitely for Liverpool, away from home. Arsenal not in the greatest form. They showed again against Shakhtar this midweek. They weren't in the greatest form. And Liverpool, I think the luck is on their side. Slot at the moment is turning his. Maybe he's overdoing it, but I think they're gonna get the result away from home. 2-1 Liverpool win. Luis Diaz to score 21.0.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
know you don't like that.
I don't like it. I tend. I, I'll elaborate after I've done my 30 seconds. Count me in.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, Arsenal are unbeaten in this fixture in the last four league games, including the last two wins at home. So, form-wise in this meeting, we'll go for Arsenal. I think this depends on the injuries. There's definitely no Saliba, definitely no Odegaard. There's doubts over Saka, Calafiori, and Timber. If Saka plays and one of the others also plays, then I'm going to go for an Arsenal win. 3-2, Saka to score anytime, 41.0.
Wow, big odds, big odds.
Yeah, look, I think this game just needs a little bit more elaboration. As I've mentioned there in my 30 seconds, I do think it's as simple as that. I think it depends on the team that Arsenal put out as to what the result's going to be here. My theory, Saliba's a massive miss, so that's why I do think there's going to be goals either way. Um, but it just depends on Saka. I think if Saka plays and one of, like I say, one of Timber Calif, if both Calafiori and Timber don't play, as well as Saliba out, I don't think it matters if Saka plays or not. I think Liverpool will get a result. So that's why I'm saying that I think that if Saka plays plus one of the others, I think that's just enough to keep a good enough first team out under the lights as well, because the clocks go back, don't they? Clocks go back Saturday night. So this is going to be 4:30 in England, but it will already start being dark. I think there'll be a big atmosphere. The fans will be behind it. So I do fancy Arsenal as long as those players play.
Yeah, yeah, I'm looking at, yeah, you're always looking at from an Arsenal point of view. I try to look at it more. I definitely look at it more at the Liverpool point of view, to be honest. I think, to be honest, I was thinking about this game, and I think it could also be like easily a 1-1 draw, or like 2-2. No, I don't, or 0-0. I think I'm leaning towards a draw. I think both teams are okay with having a draw. If you look at Arsenal and those missing players, if it comes to like the last 15 minutes of the game and they're still both at 1-1, I think they're both like, okay, it's quite a good result. We get
No,
another
I
day.
disagree. I disagree. I think if that's the situation, if it's 1-1 with 15 minutes left, Arsenal are going to go all out for the win. Draw's not good enough. The loss last week,
But
you know,
why
like,
is Arteta that attacking? Like last weekend, I think he put out like 7 central defenders in the whole backup. Like it was
oh,
like
mate,
Partey, Rice, Marino. Like if you want to get goals, don't put those guys in, to be honest.
I am like, I don't know. We'll see how this plays out, but yeah, I'm not impressed with those three all in the same team. If he does that on Sunday, then yeah, I mean, just I don't know. I don't think so. We've got to go for it more. Uh, Arsenal need a win. They need a win. Like I think they have to win this match. So I think that we'll go for that, but. I don't know. I don't know. It could go either way. We'll definitely see how good Liverpool
It
are on
always
Sunday.
like it comes to these little moments as well. Like imagine like Salah has this crazy move all of a sudden, or you have Saka coming on and he's putting on a great performance. Some people can just change games, and some occasions can change games. And it's definitely gonna be an amazing match to watch. I'm definitely gonna watch it, and yeah, you're definitely gonna watch it as well. So
Of
yeah,
course, of
match.
course. So yeah, look, no big games this weekend. So looking forward to both of those. Yeah, I'm sure we'll speak about it next week on the pod. So yeah, yeah. Anyway, right, let's get on to the Accas, Rob. The big gun Acca back to winning ways last week. What have you got for us this week, big gun Acca?
Okay. I'm not going as big as I went last week. I'm going back to some favorite teams as well. I have some new teams. First up is Celtic to beat Motherwell. Second is Sporting to beat Famalachiao. Then we go to Stuttgart to beat Holstein Kiel. Napoli to beat Lecce. Manchester City to beat Southampton, and PSV to beat PEC Zwolle. And it's a sixfold, and you can add them all together for 3.42.
Okay. Man City again. Very, very late goal that gave us the big gun hacker last week. Uh,
I know. They just,
Controversial as well, but okay. So that sounds nice. Some favourites on there: Celtic, Sporting, PSV.
yeah,
Arguable whether Stuttgart are a big gun, but I understand in terms of the odds and who they're playing. So yeah, nice. Okay. Um,
it's a match every weekend. How about the
yeah.
student ACA?
Student
It's
Acca, short
about
and
time.
sweet. You're going to be shocked. You're going to be shocked at this. Okay.
Okay, boom. Let's go then.
I got to try something different. I got to try something different. Let's try and get a win on the Student Acca. I've gone 5 teams, short and sweet, little bit ballsy as well. Why not? I've gone Leon to win, Lazio to win, Napoli, which we spoke about, and they're in the big gun Acca. I'm going Real Madrid on my Student Acca. I really fancy them. And again, wash my mouth out with soap. I'm putting Spurs on the Student Acca.
Wow.
So five teams, 11.0. Leon, Lazio, Napoli are all heavily favoured. And then Real Madrid and Spurs. Let's go and shake it up. Let's keep it shorter with a couple of longer odds at the end.
Okay. Okay. I like it. Or no, I don't really, but yeah. You,
Yeah,
you maybe
but
that's
you've
why
liked them
why you're
every
gonna win.
you've liked them every week they've lost. So let's the one week that you don't like it, maybe that's the week.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
Okay.
yes, like I'm still confident over the season. Do not worry, no fears. Bet of the week, Rob. Bet of the week again for any new listeners. We choose our favorite pick of the week out of the value picks. It has to be somewhere around 1.7 upwards. And then we're just having a little competition between me and Rob, who has the most wins. We're now at 3 wins each, 3-3. I had Arsenal last week. They cost me. You had Dordrecht, which was a risky pick. You wanted a bonus point. You're not getting it because it was about 2.65 when we spoke. I know it came down a little bit from that, but
Came down a
you're not
little
getting a
bit.
bonus
It came
point.
down to about evens.
Yeah, it was about two. I got on about 2.2, I think. But let free anyway. So we're back to level terms. Who's your bet of the week this week, Rob?
Back to the second division of Holland again,
Okay.
going to back Volendam. We talked about it. We mocked a little bit about them as they're wearing clocks. They don't really do that. They're gonna get the result against FC Eindhoven at home, 1.74. Start off the Friday, your weekend off on a good start.
Okay, it worked for you last week. I thought you were gonna say Dordrecht again,
I think
and
the
it's
price is
fine.
better on Volendam.
Yeah, it's better price. So yeah, understandable. I'm going to be honest, guys. There was a moment that I was going to choose Spurs as my bet of the week. But I
Wow.
looked in the mirror. I gave myself a slap and said, "Don't be silly." So I put them on the student Acca instead, and I'm going to go back. The one thing that's worked for me in the bet of the week is going back to a team that did the job for me. So following that rule, Reading is my bet of the week. They did the job for me last week, amongst many others that did not do the job. I'm going back to Reading as my bet of the week, and they're going to look after me again.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, Rob, that brings us to the end of the podcast. Where can people find us on the socials?
Yeah, you can find us on X. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram. You can find us on Threads. You can see our podcast on YouTube, on Spotify, and in Apple Podcasts, and across all other platforms that provide your podcast. Make sure you like and follow us. We definitely like it. We might put out a poll which match you like most, which pick you like most this week, so you can vote as well on it. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, good stuff, Rob. We do put a lot of these picks from the podcast out on the socials, but they are more last minute. And if you're listening to this, you'll know that last week, a lot of the picks last week, when we're given the odds on the podcast, they were a lot higher than they were by the time they go out on the socials. So listen to the pod. Get your bets on early. That's the point. That's why we're delivering this on Thursday mornings to beat the rest, and to get those early odds that are normally more favourable. So yeah, but keep an eye out on socials. We do put on additional picks as well, stuff that we see values, we see markets move, we find new information, find new opportunities. Keep an eye out, guys, and good luck and have a great week. Ciao for now.
Happy betting.